The Miami Heat come out and they lay an egg in the first game back in Miami against these Boston Celtics, and it was abysmal. It was horrible. It was a absolutely disastrous loss, and I'm here to break it all down on this episode of Heat Digest, where we create daily Miami Heat content. So if that interests you, subscribe to the channel, as 84% of you guys currently watching this video are not currently subscribed to the channel. We're on the road to 1,400 subscribers. We're currently just at 1,300. So if you're part of that 84%, scroll down, click the subscribe button, help us get to that goal. We do appreciate all the love and support. Also, it keeps you up to date on all things Heat Digest, and we have more content, new type of content coming, as we want to start watch-alongs as the playoffs possibly could be coming to an end for this Miami Heat team. We still have at least 2 games remaining, so maybe possibly, if you guys like it, the idea, comment down below. We can possibly get a watch along going in the next few days. So but now let's get to it and break down what we did not watch along with, thankfully, because you guys would have watched me lose my mind, because there was multiple times during this game where I physically almost had to turn the game off because I was absolutely just not mentally stable enough to watch this game, as it just started horribly, to say the least, as we only put up 12 points in the opening quarter of basketball. Yes, 12 points were scored in the first quarter of basketball for this Miami Heat team. If we look at the box score from all the way to the left, all the way to the right, from top to bottom, there is not a single good thing on this box score, and I'm not even going to beat around the bush. It was horrible. Tyler Hero started another horrible start to a game. 0 of 5 from the field, 0 of 3 from behind the three-point line, did not produce a point in the first quarter. Jaquez went 0 of 2 from the field. Haywood Highsmith went 2 of 5 from the field. And then Jovic went 1 of 5 from the field. I will say Bam went 2 of 4. It is the hottest number on the box score in the first quarter for this Miami Heat team, who did only score 12 points. Boston did score 21. We were down 9 after one quarter. And if you want to think, hey, we're only down 9. We only gave up 21 points to a team in Boston that really can score 40 in really any quarter at any given time against really any team in the NBA. Well, Kristaps Porzingis in Game 2 only had 6 points for the entirety of the game, and we won that game because we did a great job minimizing an outlier on their team. Yes, they have Tatum. Yes, they have Brown. Yes, they have a great selection of role players that really play the game well as having Joe Mazzulla really leading the way. And again, he does a great job with that Boston Celtic team, as well as just having a great overall team to really use. But again, we minimized Porzingis, and it seemed like things that was going to give the Miami Heat a chance if we were able to do that game in and game out. He shot 1 of 9 from the field in Game 2. Tonight, in Game 3, in the opening first quarter of this game, he had more points in the first, 3 minutes of basketball than he did the entire game in Game 2 against this Miami Heat team. Just a straight red flag for this Miami Heat team to really highlight and really acknowledge the fact that this game is not going to go the same way, especially if the shots are not falling for this Miami Heat team. Now, here is the box score for the entirety of the game. Jovic did get things going. He ended with 15 points, 8 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and a block. He did not have a turnover, which is huge, while shooting 45% from the field, 5 of 11, including 3 of 5 from behind the three-point line, which is huge for Jovic, as he is really a rookie, a sophomore, if you will, and it's great to see someone so young accepting the challenge, being willing to go into the fire and really produce a game like this. Caleb Martin did not have a great game. He only attempted 4 shots. He shot 50%, 1 of 2 from behind the three-point line, but overall, not a great game from Caleb Martin. He did have 2 turnovers, and one of them made him look like he was in a YMCA and hasn't played basketball before. It was absolutely horrible. It was in the third quarter. It was right in the start of that second half. He caught the ball in the right wing. He dribbled up to Bam Adebayo. That looked like he was going to go off on a dribble handoff, dribbled through it, came up to the next guy. I believe that was on the right wing. Then he was going to the left wing. Again, dribble handoff type of move. Then Jaquez was in the corner, kind of faked a back cut and came back to it. It was a miss-errant pass. It went right out of bounds. It looked horrible. It was a horrible visual, not only for this Miami Heat team, but explicitly for Caleb Martin. Then, if we continue, Bam Adebayo, good game, not a great game. And again, it's hard to ask a lot from Bam Adebayo when the rest of the supporting cast just did not have a great night overall. Bam Adebayo had 20 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. He did not have a turnover, which is great. But again, 8 of 18 from the field. He missed the 1 and only 3-point attempt he did attempt, and that was to beat the buzzer late in the game. or late in the quarter, late in the clock in the quarter, and then he shot 4 of 6 from the free throw line, which is good as Bam has gone through some free throw struggling woes, which is unfortunate, but it seems like tonight he was able to get through it. Tyler Hero, again, he started 0 of 5. He ended 5 of 16 from the field, 3 of 9 from behind the three-point line, making both of his free throws. 15 points, 2 assists, 0 steals, and 2 rebounds. He did have 4 turnovers. Not the Tyler Hero that we saw in Game 2, as he had 14 assists in that game and really did a very good job not only scoring the basketball but facilitating the basketball. Without Terry Rozier and Butler, we're going to need someone to be able to dominate the ball, but not only look to score the basketball, but to look to get everyone else really into the game and really get everyone else going and get good shots around the team and not just for yourself. Tonight, we did not see that from Tyler Hero. Then filling out the starting 5 was Jaime Jaquez Jr., the rookie, 5 of 13 from the field, 0 of 3 from behind the three-point line, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and a block with 3 turnovers. Overall, just not the greatest game from these Miami Heat players. I will acknowledge Haywood Highsmith and Patty Mills tonight, as they're the only 2 guys that really did anything off the bench. And again, it was not all that great. Even then, 8 points on 4 of 7 shooting, 0 of 2 from behind the three-point line. He did collect 5 assists and 3 rebounds. This is Haywood Highsmith I am speaking of, in 32 minutes off the bench for the Miami Heat. Then finally, Patty Mills got 12 minutes tonight, as DeLon Wright did not play tonight, and we did need to see another guard come off the bench for this Miami Heat team. It was Patty Mills. He shot 2 of 6 in 12 minutes, including 2 of 5 from behind the three-point line, providing 7 points, 1 assist, and 1 steal for this Miami Heat team. One of the few players on this Miami Heat team with a positive plus-minus, with a plus-minus of +6 for Patty Mills. Again, it's nothing to really harp over, as he only played 12 minutes in that second half to really fill in some minutes for other players. That being Patty Mills, that explains the plus-minus of +12 for Patty Mills. But again, just an abysmal game for the Miami Heat. Not only were the shooting percentages not great, but again, it started slow, and again, the Celtics started slow as well, especially in that first quarter, but nothing ever changed. We came out on the offensive end, and not only, let's ignore the offensive end because we just highlighted the box scores and how really bad everything was, but on the defensive end, we didn't accept the challenge. On the defensive end, we needed to rebound the ball better. Here in total, it was 43 to 36 in favor of the Boston Celtics. But if we break it down, offensive rebounds 10 to 9 in favor of the Boston Celtics. But if you watch this game, especially in that first half, that's not how it felt. It felt like it was 50 rebounds on the offensive rebounds for Boston to 0 for the Miami Heat. Every time it felt like because the Boston Celtics couldn't do anything wrong all night long, it felt like on the offensive end, as the Miami Heat defense just didn't have enough energy. It felt like we were running in mud, as the Celtics were running in grass with cleats on, and they were just running away from us, it felt like, and they didn't matter what we did on the defensive end. Our energy was low, and it was totally negated whether or not there was energy or not, due to the fact that the Boston Celtic offense just worked. And tonight, in that first half, like I started to say, it was offensive rebound after offensive rebound after offensive rebound, and it resulted in Boston Celtic points, and that can't happen, especially when you're playing a team so good in Boston that doesn't need second chances or third chances on the offensive end. You have to be able to negate their second chance points and their second chance opportunities if you want to have a chance in a game where you did not shoot the ball all that well. Overall, 32 of 77 from the field for the Miami Heat, 41.5%, which isn't horrible, but again, it's not going to get it done when you give up basically 48% shooting from the field to Boston, and then 9 of 28 from behind the three-point line, which is 32% for the Miami Heat, as Boston shot 11 of 37 from behind the three-point line. They did attempt 9 more 3-point shots than the Miami Heat team, making 2 more than us, and they ended up shooting just under 30% at 29.7%. I will say the only thing that felt like it was keeping the Miami Heat in this game was the free throw numbers. As we were getting to the free throw line, at least it felt like at a high clip, especially in times when it felt like Boston was really running away with things. We shot 11 of 14 as Boston shot 15 of 21. A bunch of misses for the Boston Celtic at the free throw line, which is a win for the Miami Heat. But again, we could not capitalize. 2 more things I really have to highlight here is the total turnovers. We only caused 6 Boston turnovers. That it's just not going to get it done for this Miami Heat team, as we doubled that and had 12 of our own. And the final thing is the fast break points. Boston had 2 fast break points to our 6. This Miami Heat team, and you've heard me say it, and I'm going to sound like a broken record once again. This Miami Heat team cannot rely on their half-court offense. It can't happen. I know we have Bam Adebayo. I know we have Tyler Hero. I know we have a great collection of role players that accept the challenge, at least it feels like, night in and night out. Tonight, it didn't feel that way. And tonight was a prime example of why we cannot trust our half-court offense. Not only did we have to rely on it because we were not getting out in transition because of turnovers or long misses, because we were giving up so many offensive rebounds, and we weren't getting out in transition and trying to get these easy baskets because we only had 6 for the entire game. Yes, for the entire 48-minute basketball game, we only got out in transition and scored 6 total points. It absolutely unexcusable for this Miami Heat team. Another thing, talking about unexcusable things, Derrick White on a Jaylen Brown missed free throw was able to get a putback layup. It might as well have dunked it. He was up there for 10 minutes, it felt like, on a missed free throw. Again, just things that just cannot happen. The Miami Heat came out, and again, Jayson Tatum, we have to allow it. Let me rephrase that. We're not going to allow him to do whatever he wants, but we have to accept the fact that there's a good chance he's going to bust everyone's ass, okay? He's a legit player, okay? I don't care if you're a Heat fan. I don't care if you're a whatever fan. If you hate the Celtics, if you love the Celtics, there's no other way to slice this pie because you're going to get the slice of pie in whatever form you cut it, okay? He's going to get his, and there's no really way around it unless he just has an off shooting night and he can't get one to fall. That's one thing. Or if you get him in foul trouble early so he can't get the ball really rolling for himself, that is another scenario. But if he's on the floor and he's playing the game of basketball and he cares, he's going to bust your ass. And it's not that the Miami Heat can't stop him or he's unstoppable. No, everyone's stoppable. But he is a legitimate basketball player. And he's a very, very, very good basketball player. And because of that, we have to accept the fact that he's going to get his. But because of that, we have to keep the energy high. We have to make things as hard as they can possibly be, not only for him, but for the entirety of that Boston Celtic team. We have to minimize Kristaps Porzingis and then try to make the role players beat you. Don't overhelp on Tatum and try to just really isolate or double team him and allow everyone else to really open up the floor, because we've seen what happens then in game 1 where everyone collapses and overhelps not only on Tatum but on Brown and Porzingis. It results in a 3-point barrage by this Boston Celtic team who's more than willing to shoot these threes, as we've watched after game in this series. Again, energy has to be picked up for this Miami Heat team. There's no other way to slice it. If this energy, especially on the defensive end, is not picked up, it is not going to result in things. There was a stretch in this game. We highlighted the fast break points and how abysmal they were. But there was a stretch in this game, in the middle of this game, it felt like at the end of the second quarter, maybe even the start of the third quarter, where the Miami Heat got some stops. And it wasn't because their defense was phenomenal, but they were playing at a high enough level and causing the Boston Celtics to shoot more difficult jump shots, if you will, getting later in that shot clock. And it allowed the Miami Heat, not only the players, but the fans and the atmosphere to get into it. And it felt like a playoff game. And it felt like the Miami Heat had a punching chance to not only cut into the lead, but then make a run at the lead against this Boston Celtic team. And that simply didn't happen because we had to fall into half-court offense. We were not getting out in transition after those makes. And when we got into that half-court offense, it was abysmal. Time in and time down. We just need to really buckle up, because even if the shooting doesn't translate from night in to night out, I know it's going to be hard to replicate game 2, as we had a career night and a historic night game 2, but we don't have to do that. We just have to bring the energy. If we bring the energy, it will not only stop the Boston Celtics from scoring, but not even stopping, but minimizing and really just maintaining the amount that they score quarter in and quarter out. Again, this is being the Boston Celtics. We will allow the Miami Heat to get out in transition, push the basketball down the floor, possibly get some easy baskets at the rim, open shots in transition from behind the three-point line. If that's the way the situation falls. And it can result in so much better of an offense for this Miami Heat team, because I promise you, if we continue to rely on a half-court offense that really doesn't even feel like it has structure due to not having Butler or Rozier and relying on someone in Tyler Hero, who, again, is so volatile. And when he's on, he's a problem, as we saw him have basically a 30 and 15 game with 28 and 14 in game 2. That's just not going to be the case. And we cannot put all the pressure on Bam Adebayo to come down and score from a mid-range or a fall-away jump shot time in and time down the floor when they have such good size in Porzingis, Tatum, Brown, and Al Horford. It's going to be a mess of a game 4 in Miami. I can't wait to see how it plays out. I can't wait to see if Spo makes the adjustments needed, and I hope someone lights the fire underneath the asses of this Miami Heat team, because if there isn't, and we come out and that energy is just even slightly slacking against this Boston Celtics team in the opening quarter of game 4, I promise you the series will be over the first game we go back to Boston. And I don't enjoy saying this. I want the Miami Heat to make a run here. I want them to push this series to 7. I want them to defy all the odds. I want them to go to another championship. I want them to meet Denver. And I want them to win more than one game against the Denver Nuggets team in the championship and prove everyone wrong and make a push at an actual NBA championship. Allow Jimmy to come back because he had enough rest, and then Rozier comes back, and now it's the scariest team on the planet, who's the hottest team on the planet with all the momentum. I want that to happen. But without the energy and without the fire lit under the asses of these players, it just doesn't feel physically, emotionally, or mentally possible for this Miami Heat team to compete. Again, that will be it for this episode of Heat Digest. I will see you guys on the next one. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about Game 3, as well as possibly a watch-along for Game 4. That'll be it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.